Yeah, and it's my mom. Hang on a minute, this will be fun. Mom, I'm gaming right now!
Yes. Yes, you are.
Mom, I'm gaming right now! With my friends, Mom!
Hey, don't do me! Hey, I'm here too!
Mom! I'm gaming with my friends! What do you want?
Hey,
And I'm streaming, Mom! Mom!
I'm hanging up.
I love you, Mom.
Only 5 minutes left. Fire team that fights together stays together. Double down. Tell them to line up faster. Fantastic work.
Oh my God. I didn't just do that, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I think Marv would have been very proud of me in that moment.
I have the holocron. See here. You didn't make it, Grease.
Here? Did you get out?
Ah! Ah! I don't know what happened there. Wikipedia for me, but I have a Wikipedia. And I hate it. Oh wait, is that empty? Tell me that's an empty suit. Okay, it's an empty suit. Okay. Oh, but I don't like the music that's playing. I do not care for the music that is playing right now. And there's a lot of ammo around here. I could have swore that was somebody hanging there. I could have swore that was somebody hanging there.
Which
And-
should be the upcoming update that's...
What the hell is that?
That is Barry. Barry. So you gotta say hey to
So
Barry.
is this the haunted house in the Halloween season?
More or less.
And they just keep all their
Just keep going along.
their
You're doing
prop?
fine. You're doing fine.
Oh, fuck, what was that? What was that? What the hell is that?
What was that? I don't know. You tell me.
What was that? Okay, yeah, you know what, T? You know I will get you for this.
Yeah, I know.
I will get you.
Bullshit! You're the one, dude. You're the one that took me to TWA at night. I don't want to fucking.
Oh, well, I missed this.
All right. Anything on your EM?
Do you want to play ball with me? Okay. Fuck that.
We are off and running, chat. Here we go. All right, Phil, move forward. Now, Phil, I will tell you right now, I will not leave you alone in this game. Open this door, Phil. Open this door to your left.
The one that I'm okay.
Yeah, the one on the left. Okay, walk in there. And read what is on the portrait, Phil.
How was that? Was that you?
No.
Because I didn't read anything and I just heard a noise.
No. Just
Magna.
Fuck you, bitch. This is awesome.
That switch does not seem to do anything. Exactly. It just shuts off the armor.
It shuts off the armor.
Alright, let me see if there's a switch over here.
Might be one.
These switches here.
That was not us.
Again. Alright.
I think I heard Sabrina say mom.
I heard that.
That was, I thought that was,
I thought that was Serena. I heard Mom.
me too.
I heard it too.
It wasn't.
That was not a real person.
I'll tell you what, I know, I'm gonna take a seat over here.
Maker.
Maker. You're probably told not to speak to strangers. And that's fine. That's fine. My name is T. And over there's my...
Was that you squeaking?
Ooh, no, that wasn't. I heard that.
Yeah, that's now I hear you squeaking.
I heard
What was that? It sounded like a voice.
I don't... It did.
Yeah, it wasn't your because
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't.
doesn't
Nothing got
sound
caught
like
in my throat. There was. I marked it, but it was a mumble. Did you heard that, right?
100%.
Cat, I swear, are you really doing this to me? Are you seeing this? Ah! Damn it, Cat! Don't. Oh my God! The cat. You little jerk! Man? What did you do to my game, Cat? I swear to God.
Is that still going off in there, Tina? I would like the cat balls. Someone needs some cat balls.
What was that?
Someone needs some cat balls. You have.
What is that? What is that? Do you hear that, Pip? It's a very wow. Hang on. It's a very rushed. It sounds like a rushed whisper.
Someone needs some cat balls.
I'm now slowing it down to 175. I'm hearing turn around. Does anyone else hear that? Which is ironic when you think about it, because usually people say, "Oh, all theaters are haunted." I don't think all theaters are haunted.
Well, this one's definitely definitely.
I mean, something's.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But-
They're just not talking to us right now.
They're just not talking to us right now.
You want to go into the green room?
But I ask you, since when does an actor never want to talk about themselves?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's me, Twitch Dad, and I'm here. Yeah, this is where it starts to get super creepy. This is the game Cyberpunk 2077 wanted to be, chat. I'm just gonna come out and say it. This is the game Cyberpunk 2077 wanted to be. So there you go.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Okay. Glad I got that out of my system. Overriding it could destroy my software, but I made that choice when I hooked into the first computer and the consequences it would bring. I'm sorry we won't see the outside together. I thought I needed to carry on the memories of humanity to hold on to the past, but I see futures in companions and you. Here, let me take that off of you. You were my friend, the very best I could have asked for. Oh, damn it. This is going to be another Last of Us ending where I cry, isn't it? I'm tearing up already. Oh. He's headbutting him. Oh. Oh, my heart! Oh, my heart! Oh. am I crying in a video game? Oh my god. I did it, hon. I did it, hon. I finished Stray. Worth every minute. Worth every minute. I'll move your butt just a little bit. There you go.
What?
I wonder if she's pregnant.
She does look like. I was just wondering if her belly was a little bit big.
Yeah,
Maybe that might be why she's hungry.
that might be.
So, Jack, you are upset that Wesley fought for Virginia, fought against his own people from Gettysburg. That must have been aggravating.
Did you just whisper? Did you just whisper?
Keep going. Everything you got.
Oh, I don't know. I'm worried.
He's back at red.
Come on.
Oh no.
Steve
We got him.
Sailor! Steve Sailor! You did it! You did it!
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Steve Sailor! You just picked up your second seal, and it's a motherfucking raid seal! Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go!
I fucking love it when T gets hyped.
The teammate entirely of your clan. Hold on. I'm going for it.
Right?
Yeah, you just saw 80 inches of me touching my nipples on your wall. You're never gonna look at your wall the same way again. Okay. So nice to be back. So nice to be back already. And here's the thing, everybody. I'm still trying to figure out, okay, so what am I doing tonight? I mean, how you doing there, Chris? Corpse, good to see you as well. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be doing something tonight, both here and on YouTube. And it's great to be here tonight. Thanks, everybody, for coming on in. You are joining us for a footage review. I actually need to figure out, I'm trying to figure out the easiest way of getting a clip from my phone to my PC. If I was streaming off my Mac, this wouldn't be a problem. Yo, Dark Phoenix, how are you tonight? But I do feel like I need to address it tonight. But you are joining Old Spirits Investigations, part of the paranormal programming that you will find on this very channel. My name is T. You can call me T Monster or Twitch Dad. Oh, all right. So I think I know how I'm going to manage this. I'm going to cheat with Discord. Let's see if I can make Discord work. Then I'm going to go on ahead and talk a little bit about the value of debunking, as well as the value of making sure you have people that you can chat with and you can discuss the importance of debunking, things like that. And I thought, oh, this would be a nice way to jump in, jump in with everything, jump in with what we're doing and what we do at OSI, and also a great way to show you all that, yeah, I'm not necessarily all about making sure that everything that I grab, right, that everything that I catch is the final word. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that, Corpse. It's very nice of you to say. It really is. I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can on my paranormal corner of Twitch. Yeah, so I'm obviously, as you can tell, I'm late. I'm late tonight. And the reason I was late was, and this really shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, but there is a fine line. I mean, we're talking paper thin between, there's a fine line between the paranormal and true crime. And before I got into my love of the paranormal, I admit, I love me some true crime. I really do. True crime is just awesome. And now I think there are some docuseries and docudramas and documentaries that are better than others. I'd be the first one to say that. But right now, my wife and I, Twitch Mom and I we are deep. I mean deep in a docudrama that is dropping on Hulu, and unfortunately, I picked up the docudrama as it is being as it is going through, and I think it's going to be. I think everything's wrapping up in the last episode, that last episode is dropping. The last episode is dropping, I think, this week, but it's on Hulu and it's called Scamanda, and all right, let me just do. Jeez, did I really just? Oh, I just did that on the Mac side of things. Hopefully I didn't mess up my Mac. Give me a second here. Interesting thing about this clip. And that's why we're late tonight. I am late tonight because we got into it. We got into it with the docudrama, and this is an amazing story. I remember hearing bits and pieces of it back when the story broke, but this is the entirety. This is the entirety of what's going on. As far as seeing the cat, yes, I'll make sure the cats show up before I fully go into footage review mode. But I'm going to bring up a clip. And while you might not have seen the clip during the investigation, you definitely probably heard us talking about it. So I wanted to make sure I showed everybody. Come on. Don't be stubborn. I'm really worried that I might have to get a new mouse. I really don't want a new mouse. I really don't. Here we go. Okay. So, it's brushing up against that. Oh, that'll do it. Let's go to paranormal. And if you want to see a better look at this clip, there we go. Hang on. Cool your jets there. Oh, great. We can full screen it. Great. I'll be bringing the cats in later. I do promise, Quartz. And I know that sound. Yeah, I bet you do, Dark Phoenix. I bet you do. So there's been a lot of talk about debunkers and the debunking community. And I think I might have touched base on this earlier on, but I want to make sure that everybody knows we're not subscribing to that thing that all debunkers are bullies. All debunkers are just haters. They're not. I really believe that debunkers make us better paranormal investigators. And thank you for that hydrate. If you don't mind, I'm going to hydrate with some soda because I've been feeling a little sluggish. Hello there. I've been feeling a little sluggish today. I do have actual hydration here. But no, I want to talk a little bit about debunkers. It's something that I started doing on this channel, actually. And usually I do that on my Tuesdays. The thing is that I have been focused very much on I've been focused very much on getting stuff ready for season 4 of Old Spirits, and I'm really excited. I mean, Phil and I, we recorded footage for 2 investigations. We got some great feedback. We got some incredible feedback today that I'm insanely proud of, and I'm going to be making sure that I share it with you all. Today was a wild day because it started off. I had a I woke up at like 5 in the morning, and at one point Pip Pip says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to get this stuff out of my head." And I put together, if you have an iPhone, I'm sure there's a Google version, there's an Android version of this, but if you've got an iPhone, do not sleep on the Reminders app. It is really one of the coolest apps and probably one of the easiest to do apps that's out there right now. And I have been I've been filling it up since 5 a.m. this morning, and I'm in fact, I actually responded to that, so that's off the list now. And I'll talk about what I just checked off the list too. So I just had this list of all this stuff that I needed to take care of, and one of the things was reaching out to Amy and Jared of Amy's Crypt, and it's because they are the developers, or at least they are the people who got, pardon me, hashtag burpgate, and they basically are the people who created or facilitated the creation of GhostTube. May you please explain in deep detail about how to get started in paranormal investigation? Wow, that's a deep question. Let me finish this little thing about debunkers and debunking and the importance of it, and then we can touch on that, sure. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to get an email out to Amy's Crypt and upload a clip that I was ready. I'm telling you, I was ready to get incorporated into the episode. We are definitely going to be dropping this episode, because I did ask Phil. I said, "Do you want me to take the Sunday investigation and move it to season 5, or do you want me to find a place for it in season 4?" And he says, "That's got to be in season 4." And I said, "Okay." And this clip was probably one of the reasons why we were going to put it in season 4. And I'm going to show you the clip straight away. And this is why I think it is really important for debunkers to be part of the paranormal experience. And when I say the paranormal experience, I'm talking Corpse about what we're doing, right? I talk about what we're doing. Because I will say, I think there are some debunkers out there that they go out of their way. I mean, they'll be like we had somebody leave a comment today. Yeah, it was yesterday morning, and they basically said,
"If you don't have a medium, then what's the point?"
And some just come on our channel and just say
bullshit.
And that's not really debunking either. I'm talking about like really getting in and getting your hands dirty, with the evidence, getting your hands dirty with the footage, and basically saying, this is why I believe this is fake. And there are two ways you can, when you are challenged like that, as a paranormal investigator, when you are challenged like that, you've got to be able, you don't need a medium, and that's coming from me, who is a medium. I mean, thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate that. I do. I did come back very, very kindly with, I politely disagree, and here's why. And I left it open. I didn't hide their comment, but we did get a
bullshit
the other day, and those I just go ahead and say hide user from channel. So they did their part, and they still see their comment. What she said. Yeah, exactly. But where I respect and when I think of debunkers, I watch 3, and then I occasionally check on this fourth one. But the 3 debunkers I tend to, I'm subscribed to and I watch on the regular, in no particular order. There's Beardo Get Scared, there's the Side Eye Guy, there's Mythos Paranormal, and then finally there is I'm sorry, like five debunkers. Kenny Biddle, and finally J. Card Arts, who's slowly becoming more of a debunker. And then there are some paranormal investigators that pride themselves on being debunkers first, paranormal investigators second. Beardo is someone that and Side Eye Guy, they both want a paranormal experience. They really want to be proven wrong. But here's something I think that is worth noting. These guys tend to go after channels that are, one, bigger than theirs, and two, not necessarily they're going after paranormal investigators, but they're going after investigation teams that if a REM pod goes off or if GhostTube says something, well, they're not using GhostTube, they're using Spirit Talker. I have issues with Spirit Talker. But Spirit Talker goes off and they go, oh my God, it's paranormal, it's ghost. They're going after the Sam and Colbys. They're going after, they're going after Project Fear. They're going after the bigger channels that are not necessarily getting super analytical with their, now I'm going to be, total transparency. If you've been to OSI, if you've been to our channel on YouTube, you know that I like Project Fear. Now, I'm not necessarily dismissing this or using this as here is my disclaimer. I really believe that Project Fear, they are better paranormal investigators than the content that they produce suggests. Here's what I mean by that. They go for the sensational. And they are one of my favorite entertainment, paranormal entertainment groups to watch. Okay, I like them a lot. Now, I will also say, we have met them in the past, me and Phil. Could not be nicer people. All four of them, 5, when you bring in Connor Stallings, they're all great people. So I like that, But the other thing is, if you go back and you watch their 3-part series on the Conjuring House and the shenanigans that were happening at the Conjuring House shortly after Sam and Colby and their Conjuring House shenanigans, there is a moment that the Project Fear team has that nobody really wants to point to, but I will gladly point to it and say that was some of the best paranormal investigation I have seen in a long time at the Conjuring House. And it was spot on. And if you go back and you watch it, you watch this particular episode, you'll find out why. And then there's a lot of other little things that they were kind of pointing out very subtly. And I just feel like because of what they do and how they do it, because it is over the top. It is very over the top. But I enjoy watching it because they've been saying from the beginning, this is a social experiment. We're trying to see if fear, if scaring each other and scaring ourselves ramps up paranormal activity. And sometimes I think their stuff is brilliant and it's great in how it works. Some of it, not as much. I mean, I'm not a big fan of a lot of things that they do, but I shouldn't say that. Some of the things they do, I'm not a big fan of. Most of the stuff they do, I enjoy, and I own it. I own it. But do I subscribe to some of the other types of groups and acts? Let's call them acts. That they tend to the debunkers tend to go after, the Kelsey Davies, the Sam and Colbys, the Zach Baggins. And one of the things that I do like about the debunkers that I watch is they also don't mind calling out someone when they start to stray from the path, if you will. The aforementioned Amy's Crypt, and they're one of the, in my opinion, they're one of the best groups, duos, whatever you want to call them. I genuinely enjoy watching Amy's Crypt. I love what Amy and Jared do. But Amy paired up with a pair of LA ghost hunters, and debunkers called her onto the mat. They said, don't do that. We know you're trying to grow your channel. We know you're trying to reach new audiences, but don't associate with people like this. And I mean, I don't mind saying it. One of them was Kelsey Davies, and I have an issue with Kelsey Davies because we had just watched the Gabby Petito, again, true crime, the Gabby Petito documentary, and she was one of these so-called psychics that was claiming, oh yeah, I was in touch with Gabby Petito. And that kind of opportunistic nature in paranormal, that makes me very uneasy. It does a lot of damage to this field. And I'm the first one to say it. All of us in this field, when dealing with the paranormal, we're all trying to figure out, what's going on around us. And when you have someone like that, and that's where I always go back to, it's the paranormal opportunists and the paranormal entrepreneurs that really, really unsettle me as an investigator. And what I mean by that are these are people that are looking to prime a pump and just get every ounce of milk out of that cow before that cow keels over dead, And those are the people that I see a lot of the debunkers that I respect go after. And there are some paranormal investigators like Joe Vitale, Ghost on Trent, and I've found these paranormal investigators through other investigators, the Ouija brothers. They got that great name, the Ouija brothers. So you expect them to be somewhat sensational, and they're not. They're actually quite good, quite analytical, and I really enjoy what they do and how they do it. And I really do believe they make all of us that are not Sam and Colby, all of us that are not Mindseed, all of us that are not Twin Paranormal, they make all of us work harder and actually be better paranormal investigators because of it. I'm not out to make anybody a true believer. I'm really not. I am here to make sure that, one, when you watch my investigations, you are entertained by the investigation itself. I'm one of those people that is thoroughly entertained when I watch paranormal investigators investigate. They don't have to say it's a demon. They don't have to scream. They don't have to go running in another direction. I am engaged from day one. That's how I was with Ghost Hunters. Hang on a minute, everybody. Attention, all personnel. Ads in 20 seconds. Ads in 20 seconds. That is all. Okay. And I'm not going to run this clip until everybody gets back from here, because this is definitely playing into the investigation we had on Sunday. But yeah, I'm one of those people that find paranormal investigations engaging, and that's what I'm hoping. Bye, everybody. That's what I'm hoping, that people will, when they come and see us at Old Spirits, they genuinely enjoy what is happening and how we're doing it, right? Because the entertainment value is in how we investigate. Are we having a good time? Are we making it entertaining? Do we catch things? And so yeah, I put a lot of value in not only being able, the debunking community, but also in my own ability to debunk. And this particular clip that I'm going to show you all when everybody gets back from ads, I'm disappointed when I debunk my own stuff. I totally admit it. When I debunk my own stuff, it's a bit of a bummer, because I'm like, yeah, we got something juicy here, and then it's like, crap, But I also think that by being able to look at your own stuff and saying, I'm good with debunking my own footage, my own evidence, if you will. That's why I don't like necessarily calling it evidence until the episode goes out. I don't want to call it evidence until I know for sure that I've ruled out everything. And so yeah, I put a lot of faith and I put a lot of value in good debunkers. And we're not at a stature yet, or we're not on any kind of platform or pedestal yet where I think people want to debunk us, if that makes sense, and that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't say no if Beardo took a crack at one of the. I wouldn't be upset if Seg took a crack at the stuff that we have. But I do. I think that I want to be ready for when debunkers look at our stuff and I can say, okay, this was what we experienced and here's what we found out afterwards, or this is what I heard, and I realize this is somewhat subjective, but this is what I heard, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's get to the clip that you might remember this from Sunday if you joined us for the Sunday investigation. So to give you context, my wife is currently running GhostTube Seer. Seer is the device where it runs on a word bank, but it also needs the internet. And the reason it needs the internet is because instead of giving you a word or phrase that is in the word bank, it generates AI art. And it is based on whatever phrase or word that whatever is present is trying to get across. Now, by itself, GhostTube Seer is not the world's greatest gadget because it's very subjective. It's art. We're interpreting art, but as GhostTube themselves say when you launch the app, when Amy and Jared release this out to the wild, they say, look, don't use this thing by itself. Instead, use it with other devices. Pay attention to what you're asking. Pay attention to the conversations. Make it part of the investigation. Don't base your entire investigation around this app. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it's saying. There's more value in an investigation when you have multiple devices that are corroborating with one another. So we're in the church. We are in the church. We are in the middle of the investigation. Phil is setting up the portal. And, check this out. And, Phoenix, I know you were there, so you probably remember when this happened. Let's go on ahead and let's fire it up. Oops. Let's try it again. There we go. A little sniffly here. Okay. There it is. All right.
Dang it, there's the ding. I turned it in the ding up.
So watch what
dang
happens.
It. I said, dang it. I'm danging it. I don't know what that is.
Flash warning.
Yeah,
Flash warning.
Is that like a bird? It's a weird... Why is it doing that? What is it doing? It's flashing and
the bleeding.
But there's also... It looks like angel wings or something.
Yeah, but it's also bleeding.
It's also bleeding angel wings.
Okay.
No, seriously, look what it's doing.
No, I see it.
That's
as
weird.
As long as you're recording it, that's the important thing.
We keep getting, like this one just said again, don't go. Like we get stay, don't go. But then we get ones like leave, go away, don't come back.
Okay, that is surreal, is it? Nothing.
And what I was going to say in response to that is that's part of how you maintain control of the space. Is you say,
Sure. Phil, have you ever seen this? Look at this. What the fuck is that?
That's weird.
It looks like there's angel wings, but like bleeding.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Oh.
But you've never seen it like flash?
No, I've never seen it flash like that before.
So, well, first off, Corpse, if you want to see the schedule is either available on Discord. It is also available on our Twitch. It's available on our Twitch page. If you go to twitch.tv/the-T-Monster, you'll see that I have at the very top. You'll see a block, and the block will give the schedule for the week. So that's one thing. So yeah, that was, and I'm gonna play it again and try to see if I can freeze it on the actual image. But we have been using Seer since its debut, and I've seen Seer do some weird stuff, but never have I seen it do that. And what the Discord? Yeah, sure. Just go command Discord. You should be able to do ! Discord in chat, and it should go on ahead. it should go on ahead and it should point you towards our Discord. Okay, Corpse? All right. So anyway, so yeah, I thought that was pretty wild. And then Pip, of course, isolated the clip, and we shared it with we shared it with our priest. We had to say, "Oh, check this out." We had never seen, and that was the only time during the evening. The only time during the evening that Seer did this. So let me see if I can get the image. I'm gonna wait and see if I can get the image again. Thank you for that, Lord
Dang
Chris.
it. I said, dang it.
And you'll
I'm
notice that it's
danging it.
happening in both spots. You know, you've got this weird
Yeah, it
glitch
is.
down there, and then there's the.
Bird?
So I can get it.
It's weird.
I'm gonna be hitting pause a lot, so hang tight.
Why is it doing that? What is it doing?
It's kind of funny how I
flashing
just
and-
cannot seem to get it.
Bleeding.
I'm just missing it. Let me see if it'll let me drag it. Oh, there we go. So that was the image that GhostTube was conjuring up. It's a game now. Yeah. But that was the image that GhostTube was trying to conjure. But then we got this weird flashing. Now, I will say, this is a very compelling image. It's a very compelling image. Because it isn't a bird. It isn't necessarily a bird. I mean, obviously it looks like wings, but we don't actually see a bird's head or anything like that. We just see what look like white wings. And we're in a church, and we're getting some very cryptic, very standoffish kind of responses from the Paratech. But we get this image, but we're barely able to even capture this image because of this weird interference.
But there's
that we're
also,
getting
it looks like
with it
angel wings
blinking,
or something.
right?
It's also bleeding angel wings.
I mean, they do look like angel wings, but yeah, bleeding angel wings, but still. So yeah, so I took this clip, and this is what I mean by, you know, how important it is to always check, even going straight to the source if you can. I dropped an email this morning to Amy's Crypt, and I put this clip online, and I wanted to go on ahead and I just put it on unlisted, put the link together on YouTube, and then I went and wrote to Amy's Crypt and said, "Hey, I love what you guys do," and they knew that. They know. I mean, I'm one of those crypt keepers that shows up, when I can, and I was ready to talk really intensely about with Amy and Jared about what this could mean. What was the story that we were missing with this particular image? I mean, I was ready to just throw down with Amy and Jared and say, I have never seen this before, and I really want to know, what do you think is causing this? Here was the response I got, and it wasn't from Amy or Jared. Hi there. Thanks for reaching out. Your email has been forwarded to GhostTube support. We can confirm this is a known bug impacting GhostTube Seer after the last release, and we are currently investigating the cause and working on a fix. And then they asked me for some statistics. You know, like okay, what's the version of the software you're using? What's the version of GhostTube you're using, etc., etc., etc. And you know what? I am more than cool with that. I am more than cool with being told, yeah, this is a bug. This is not a feature, it's a bug. And yeah, it's disappointing. It's very disappointing. Because you want it to be real. You know, I mean, we're in an active church. We're in an active like people, not as in paranormally active, but we're in an active church, as in, you know, it's being used. It has, you know, it has a priest. It's consecrated ground, and now we're getting, you know, it's trying to create angel wings that are maybe bloody, but ooh, it's flickering. I've never seen it do that before. But there is real value in that. Imagine what would have happened if I had not reached out to Amy's Crypt to share with them this weird happening that has never happened before when I've run GhostTube Seer. Imagine what would have happened if I had put that in the episode and said this strange happening had occurred, and blah blah, and really built, because I was ready to go deep and say, oh yeah, this is definitely something that what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Which is something that we do. It's something that we do. But instead we're told, yeah, that's a bug. That's a glitch. But there is real value in that. Because now we are, because we took that, we being OSI as a group, because we took that extra step and we said, let's show this to the people behind the app, and maybe they can tell us what they think it is. And they kicked it up to their tech support. I mean, that says a lot, not just about Amy's Crypt, but it says a lot about what we do at OSI. We don't take things at face value. We have to rule out everything. Now, I did find it weird that was the only time during the night that happened. It did not happen any time after that. But at the same time, the fact that someone has come in and said, this is a known bug. Okay. You know what? I'm good with that. I can accept that. I can accept that. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Doesn't take the sting away though. It doesn't take the sting away. I really wanted it to be something. But not every hit is going to be a gem. Not everyone's going to be a gem. So Corpse asked, how do you get involved, or how do you get into paranormal investigation? How do you get started? And that's a big question. And what I'm seeing and what I'm noticing is I've seen people just do it on their own. They go on ahead and they
Hello there.
Hello there. How are you, Master? Good to have you in stream. They will just start up their own channel and they'll do it all in their onesies. And it tends to be it's not necessarily a trend. It's just people do it because they're like, well, I don't want to be reliant on other people. I don't want to, I don't want to have to bother my friends who all think I'm crazy or something along those lines. It's the shortest distance between 2 points to scratch this paranormal bug that you have. Well, I'm going to grab a camera, I'm going to grab a recorder, and I'm going to go off and do the thing. Well, here's my argument against that. There is strength in numbers. It is always a good idea to have a friend with you. And that goes two ways. One, that friend is watching your back. If something goes wrong, and not necessarily, I'm not even talking about when something goes wrong during an investigation. I'm just talking about, with something that you can't see. I'm exactly, Phoenix. You finish the thought. Some places are not always safe. Ghosts are everywhere. Man, never go alone. Yeah. That's also a great way to put it, Master. But it's true, it's always nice to have somebody covering your back. And in the words of Jason Hawes, it's not the dead that scare me so much as the living. And especially if you are going around abandoned locations, that can get very hairy if you are by yourself. What if you trip? What if something happens where you take a tumble? Well, if your bro is there, if your buddy is there, if your significant other is there, you have somebody that can call 911 if something goes wrong. If you are feeling threatened, again, you can have somebody else call 911. I think it's important that you have somebody with you to make sure that you are okay. And also, if something does happen paranormal, on the paranormal scale, not only do you have it captured on audio, captured on video, but you also have eyewitness corroboration. You have somebody with you that is there to cover it. And then there's the probably the biggest reason to have somebody with you to do this. You can share the experience with that person. You need at least 2 other people, one to back you up and one to sacrifice if things go wrong. No, you almost right, Master, but honestly, you're not sacrificing. The other person has to have Kate Bush at the ready. So if you start levitating, you throw down, running up that hill, and you're golden. You are golden. But it is very important because it's great to share that with somebody. When Phil and I first started doing this, it was all right. You take care now, Chris. Thanks for hanging out. When we started doing this together, me and Phil, man, the places we went to, just the 2 of us, we had some crazy experiences. Some of them not ready for prime time. Some of them not corroborated. I would actually, in all seriousness, Master, I would say 2 people. 2 people, you're covered. You're covered with 2. Yeah, I mean, being able to share that with a friend is great. Sharing with somebody who is like-minded, again, it's a great experience. When it was just me and Phil, I would say perhaps the best experience I think we ever had, just the 2 of us, was when we were at Crescent, Crescent, hang on a minute, Crescent SCI. The Crescent, at one time I used to know what SCI stood for. Now I can't remember. I must either be tired or I'm just out of practice. But when we went to this place, so let me quickly explain this place. Crescent SCI was a correctional institute. State Correctional Institute. That's what it was. There we go. Crescent SCI. State Correctional Institute. But here's the thing. It started off as a tuberculosis ward. And then it went from a tuberculosis ward to a mental asylum. And then it went from a mental asylum, and they built around the mental asylum, and they converted the mental asylum to also be a medium security prison. They actually had a serial killer by the name of Joseph Callinger, the shoemaker killer. And yeah, he was messed up. And he was there. He died in that prison. Just checking. Okay, later on. MTG is going to be good, by the way. All right, well, you have a good night there, Master. Enjoy the arena. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. But we did a lock-in. So it was a group of, I want to say 10 or 15. But we were all in our own little teams, and it was just me and Phil. And we were in Crescent for 12 hours. We went in at 6 and we left at 6. And that was an astounding experience. We did the entire if you go to our YouTube page, the whole experience, well, not the whole experience. It was we were doing things a little differently in that first season. And Crescent had just opened up to the public. Or had just opened up for paranormal investigations. And it really was an amazing experience. Yeah, I mean, it was great to be able to share that with a friend. But one thing I would suggest, if you can't think of a friend that would want to do this with you, then go on ahead and do a little search on Google. Find out if there are any paranormal groups in your area, because we found out that when we came into this area, we found out that we're not the only paranormal group in this area. There's another paranormal group in the area that we moved into, and they do regular events for the public. They're like outreach events that they call it, and they're nice people. They're really super nice people. But that would be where I would find. Yeah, exactly, Phoenix. You just do a search, find out the closest paranormal group to you, if there is one close to you, and then you say, I'm interested in doing this. Are you find out if they are looking to grow their numbers, find out if they are doing any kind of training, are they doing any public events, and that's something that you should also keep an ear to the ground for. There are different groups that do public events. They'll do a public. Sometimes it'll be a meet and greet. Sometimes it'll be a public event. The problem, I would say, though, with public events, actually, we have a 5-minute paranormal on this. I do the breakdown of what a ghost tour is like, or what a ghost tour is like, or a haunted tour is like, and then I go into the expectations and what you can do at a paranormal public event, and then I talk about the paranormal private event. And it's good to know how these different types of events work. So and sometimes you'll find that some historical properties, and I think more should do it because it's a great way to get people interested in history. You can go on ahead and you can just go to you can just go to some of these historical locations, and they'll have graveyard walks. They'll do public paranormal events where people come in and they actually do a little mini investigation. I'm going to be doing one with Phil in April. Yeah, we're going to be doing it in April, and we're actually going back to Annenberg, and this time we're going to get paid. We're gonna get paid, and I actually meant to do that one, but this also works because we basically said, yeah, instead of paying us, we'll just go on ahead and we'll just we'll take a private one, a private event for free, and they're like, doesn't pay the bills, but you know what? It's cool. We're good with and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Historic Manassas a little later. So, Corpse, that's how you start. But now the next big question. Okay, what should I have with me? Well, the video on your phone is good enough. Now, some people would say, well, you should get a dedicated camera like this. And these are fine. The quality, though, it varies. Like, I still haven't decided if I would go on the record to recommend these smaller cameras. They're great in a pinch, and they're good, drop and leave kind of cameras. They've been reliable, but there are cameras that are even cheaper than this one, and they would. I've had bad instances where they have just conked out on me in the field. And if I don't have this video, if I don't have something capturing the video, that's rough. That's really rough. Now on a smartphone though, any smartphone from I would say reaching back 5 years, the optics especially on the newer phones are incredible. Now, I do not usually use my phone. I don't use my phone to capture video because if it's at all possible, I stream it. Now, I would not recommend streaming your investigations if you're new at it. It was a point of contention between me and Phil. When I first started, I was having a tough time, deciding, okay, when do I pay attention to stream? When do I not pay attention to stream? And Phil and I, we clashed a lot about it, and then finally I said, okay, how about we do this? Because when I went back to edit some of the footage, I'm like, oh, I see what he's talking about. And I told him as much. I said, you're absolutely right. So here's what we're going to do differently. When we go from point A to point B, when we pick up our gear and move somewhere, that's when I'll address chat. When we have breaks, that's when I'll address chat. Other than that, I'm going to just lean on my moderators and say, look, I need you all to keep an eye on chat because I can't interact with chat. I'm in the investigation, and this is why. This is a great example of it. Yep, there we go. Okay. If you look, now I'm not sure why it's getting cropped out like that. It shouldn't be getting cropped out. Does it look like that on a? Hang on a minute. I got to check something here on Twitch. I've got to check something on Twitch. Hold on. If that's the case, I gotta fix that, because on YouTube it's cropped out. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna save that, and then I'm gonna go to. Here we go. Ghost Hunting Live. See, it looks fine there. It looks perfectly fine there. But for some reason, it's cropped out on YouTube. That's interesting. Okay. But here, let me show you. Let me show you, everybody. One of the reasons why we have as our backdrop or our layout, you notice that we don't have when I'm doing an investigation, I don't have the chat bubbles popping up. I don't have any events. I mean, I see chat, but there are no there are no raid notifications, there are no alerts. Everything's disabled. That's because I want to have as much visible on my stream as possible. Second thing is that you'll notice that the words investigation in progress is on the bottom of the screen. That is to make sure everybody knows if they don't see their chat, if they don't see events pop up or things like that, it's because there's an investigation in progress. And then, of course, we have our OSI, Old Spirits Investigations logo there to let people know that you're watching OSI. Now, it took me a while to get to this point, but that's where we're at. And when Phil got to see it from the viewer side, he said, "This works for me," and that's how we do it. So I would not recommend, unless you're really, really confident in your streaming abilities, I would not recommend streaming your investigations starting off. I really wouldn't. Okay, hold on one second. Attention, all personnel. Ads in 25 seconds. Ads in 25 seconds. That is all. And when everybody gets back from ads, I'm going to talk about equipment that you should have. Starting off. But your phone and its camera, and even its recorder, is great. You can get an inexpensive camera, Korean knockoff, what have you. But I can't guarantee how good it's going to hold up, right? All right, so now we got ads, and again, Phoenix, I did want to say thanks again for all the great clips you grabbed. You grabbed some great stuff, and that is if you want to know, that is my goal. That is my ultimate goal for streaming paranormal investigations. I want to be able to get chat involved so that they can see it and they can go, "Oh wow, this is so cool." And then they're gonna start. They're gonna be, virtually part of the event. That's what I'm looking for anyway. I actually watch paranormal streams with my eyes closed. I just listen out for possible EVPs, since I see all sorts of things that never clip until the times it does. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you. It really is. It's really nice to have people that engaged, and I feel lucky because Phoenix, one of my mods who has been on investigations with me before, Resident Moon, Nick Spencer is their name, and they have caught they've clipped disembodied voices we've caught before, so that's kind of cool, and that is eventually what I would like to see happen for the live investigations, that it becomes a participation sport, just preferably not a participation sport where I don't want it to be a participation sport where people are distracting me from the investigation. So that helps. Oh, really? Okay. Now you see, I was actually gonna mention Datune. And yes, before you ask, yes, I put him in the category of Amy's Crypt, Old Spirits, Paranormal Quest, Paranormal Encounters. I really like watching Datune investigate. And sharing the stage with him at TwitchCon was a joy. The difference though between Datune, and I don't know how he does it, but I admire the fact of how he does it. He's got his chat super reduced, and he's still got his overlays, and he still has his alerts. Mazel tov. I mean, that's kind of cool. And if someone were to say, what's the difference between you and Datune? I would say that Datune is streaming his paranormal investigation. That is what I consider Datune doing. He is streaming his paranormal investigation. He's got the overlays, he's got the alerts, he's got the chat, and it's a different kind of experience. When I do it, I feel like I'm saying, well, I want chat to come with me on an investigation. And I try to make it as realistic as possible. And part of that is by disabling the alerts and disabling all that stuff that Datune can do, you know? and it's also nice to know that Datune and I share the same struggle in hoping that we have good enough Wi-Fi to run a stream from. Now he's doing it. Good evening, Starman. How are you? The other thing I admire too is that he is doing the full on. He has a server set up in another room. He's bouncing signals off of signals, and it's crazy. But I admire that. Now me, I'm a baller on a budget. I am streaming straight from the phone, and if what is it? If Streamlabs fails me, then I pretty much can't stream. And I don't. That's why I always say whenever I'm going to a site, I say, well, you know what? Wi-Fi permitting, I'm going to stream. Wi-Fi permitting, I'm going to stream. What if I wanted to do paranormal investigation by myself? How would I get started? I'm serious, Corpse. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to say it again, and I'm not going to recommend it. I would say then wait. Wait until you find someone that you feel comfortable with, and you go out. Hey Sam, I'm sorry to break your heart like that. I'm sorry, Bear. I'm sorry. I know you enjoy wielding the banhammer. Don't worry. There's going to be an emote coming very soon of a banhammer. I promise. But hi Bear. How are you, hon? That's our daughter, by the way. Side side up. That's Sam. Anyway, no, I wouldn't recommend. I know people do it. Corpse. I really wouldn't do it. And I just there's just too many variables that could get you into trouble. So, what I would recommend, again, what I recommend doing is just asking around to see if there's a paranormal group in your area, and or just finding people in your area that are like-minded when it comes to the paranormal, or even finding somebody that's a friend of yours who's like, I don't really buy into that stuff, because look at the success in the paranormal from Shane and Ryan over at Watcher. Would it be possible to do it with me and one other person? Oh yeah, of course. Now, Corpse, that's easily done. That's easily done. Tell Dad to let me borrow the car. I have a date tonight. But a bing. Oh, jeez, come on. Yeah, 2 people, fine. 2 people are fine. I do them by myself in my own home, but I wouldn't recommend that if you don't want activity to pick up in your own home space. Some can be stuck. Yeah, you see, now I'm very, and again, we have videos on OSI about that, about, cleansing your home and cleansing yourself after investigation. And that actually brings me, but before I forget, since everybody's back from the break and everything, So if you've got a pretty decent smartphone, like if you've got a smartphone for the past 5 years, you've got you've got a video camera at the ready. Now I'm going to recommend that you make an investment, not on Temu, but make an investment and find a good gimbal for your phone. A gimbal is this thing that you put your phone in, and you can carry it, and it's a stabilizer. So you don't have that shaky Blair Witch style, Blair Witch filming. That Blair Witch cinematography. You don't necessarily want that. As far as recording devices go, though, and this is where I've had spirited debates with people in the paranormal, because they go, you know what, the mic on my phone is fine, or I've got a really nice camera here, the mic on there is fine. No, I'm going to recommend this. Okay, this is a Zoom recorder. It's a digital recorder, and it's this one is the H4n Pro. There's also the H2n Pro, and I believe there's the H1n Pro. But I know that they are still making the H2 and the H4n Pro. I highly recommend these. I was using these 20 years ago in their earliest incarnations for podcasting. They record fantastic audio. It's great quality, and they're very easy to use. So and they're also economical, and they're workhorses. So I would say get yourself a good audio recorder, get yourself a good video recorder. Don't jump in and get these type of cameras. This is a professional grade camera I've got in my hand. These come at like $1,300 a pop, and I tell people, don't dive in, because you don't know if you're going to enjoy it or not. You really don't until you actually do it. Start with either your smartphone or an economic camera, and then get yourself a nice audio recorder, and then you're ready to go. That's all you don't even need like the ghost gadgets. You don't need a K2 meter. You don't need some of the gadgets that you see me use in the field. You don't need that. You can just go in with you need something, though, to capture data, audio and video. And then once you've got that, you're ready to go. And the reason why I would say, if you're going to use your phone, go on ahead and get a gimbal for it, because you don't want to have that herky-jerky video that you see a lot, particularly on Nuke's Top 5 and things like that. You want something that's steady. You want something that's passable, and that way you're not spending too much money off the bat. And after about three or five investigations under your belt, then you go, okay. Am I enjoying this? Am I having fun? Because then this is the part that people forget. When they go on an investigation, it's awesome. But then all those hours that you were at the investigation, you got to go through all that footage. That's why I do a footage review here on Twitch. Because if I want to stream, I want to share the experience with people. But if I'm not looking through the evidence, I'm going to fall behind. And there's a lot of footage to go through. And I also do this live so that I can explain, this is part of the investigation. And if you're not doing this part, then you're not a paranormal investigator. You're just showing up. You're just showing up with a camera, recording hours of video, and you're not watching it again. And it's not just the video you got to go through, it's the audio you got to go through. And if you've got multiple cameras, you got to go through as many of those cameras as you can. There's a lot of footage that people go through. And it's one of the things that I miss from the original Ghost Hunters, is they used to do montages of the original crew, Steve Gonsalves before he became a lead investigator, and Dave Tango. And they would just go through hours and hours and hours from different cameras and different recorders. They had to go through the video. And that's part of the process. But after your 5th investigation, say, okay, am I enjoying myself? Am I having a good time? And if you're having a good time, then you go, okay, then I need to put a priority list together and figure out what devices I want to use. I want to find out where I want to go next. And then I got to find out if I have it in my budget. Start small, though. Start small and keep it simple. And talk to other paranormal investigators. It's one of the reasons why I do these review shows, is because I want to be able to, impart this knowledge, some of the stuff that I've learned along the way. And I hope that answers your question in depth. I will say real quick to Starman, we started the Gorge, haven't finished it yet. We're going to get there. Got some other stuff to do first. But I hope, Corpse, this has been helpful. I hope this has enlightened you in some way, or has been. It came out of the box swinging, Starman. So I'm gonna get to it. We're gonna finish it. I just wanted to see it with the Rossies, and didn't work out for the weekend, but oh well. And the same goes over for YouTube. If you're over on YouTube watching the stream, feel free to ask any questions at any time. Not even sure if we're going to even get to footage review, because it seems like tonight's the night that people want to ask the hard hitting questions. Everyone from how do you get started to, have you seen the Gorge yet? So so yeah, I would definitely say, though, work up to a device like this. Work up to a camera of this range and this ability, because that's when we got these cameras, it was a bit of a game changer for us. And what was the scariest investigation we've done? Wow. So, I mean, the funny thing is that when you ask that question to Jason, what scared you the most on an investigation, et cetera, he always says the same thing. He always says, well, it's not the dead that scare me, it's the living. And he's got some pretty scary stories about people that he's dealt with in the past. And I've dealt with some scary individuals already. But I would say when it comes to, if we don't do it tonight, Corpse, there's always Thursday night. Like I said, when I came on, I wasn't sure what I wanted to review, but I mean, people are asking questions, and I'm okay with it being a little casual Q&A. I'm good with that. It's nice to be able to have a Q&A with everybody. Maybe answer the questions that other people have. But going back to the scariest investigation, at one time, Starman, I would say TWA Flight 514, the crash site of that airline disaster, was at the top of the list. That was before I went. Just last year, we went to a place. We being OSI, me and Pip, we were teaming up with the Association for Paranormal Study. And we did a double header. One night we went to the Hinsdale House, which is a very infamous place that I went in with wide eyes and tongue firmly planted in cheek, because all the stuff that was being claimed about Hinsdale couldn't be corroborated in history. Which automatically, that just, that right there, if anything like that happens, I'm automatically on the defensive. Because I'm sitting there going, okay, what are we dealing with here? I'm going to get to that in a second, though, Starman. So the second night, though, we went to a place called the Wildwood Sanatorium. And that place it had some secrets about it, but we knew that it was an actual sanatorium. There were pictures of people there. There were pictures of of nurses there, working with patients. So we knew that this place did have a history. But there was a heaviness about this place. There was a straight up heaviness about this place. And that was during the day. And when we saw it at night, it took on it was a whole different beast. And I want to say we were at Wildwood for 6 hours, 7 hours. And not only did we have one of the best live streams from there, I haven't even looked at the footage, but I know for a fact it's going to be completely off the charts. That place, I desperately want to get Phil up to Wildwood, because that place is just electric. And there was an incident and you'll see it. You'll see it because it's going to be our season finale. There was an incident there involving Alex that was really, several instances that really just shook me. It shook me to the core. And Wildwood is just an amazing place. But this is another reason, Corpse, why I would never say, yeah, you can go ahead and do this by yourself. There are people that do it by themselves. But I really feel like you need to have a partner there that grounds you. And if you go to a place like Wildwood by yourself, that could get dicey. That could get a little dicey. Now, here's the thing, Starman. When you're doing different things in paranormal investigations, I think there are some no-fly zones. There's trauma involved with battlefields, and there are some battlefields that will kick you off the premises if they catch you ghost hunting. And I can understand that. I'm not really 100% comfortable about going to plantations, but I'm okay with it to a point, provided I will go there in respect. I go there with reverence and I go with respect. Same thing in what happened when we were at the crash site of TWA. When we went into the crash site, I was going in with a lot of reverence. I wanted to show as much respect as possible. We even went back, left, and actually the day we investigated, and the day that we went back to pay respects, both times we brought flowers. But if someone said, well, would you want to go on ahead and investigate? What if somebody gave you, because I have been asked this before, what if somebody gave you a green light to investigate a former POW or concentration camp? And I include in that the Japanese internment camp and what remains of it at in the United States. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. If somebody said to me, go on ahead and do an overnight at no, I'm not doing that. It can be different, and it's different from team to team. Some people would jump at the chance. I'm like, no. There are certain lines I feel as a paranormal investigator that should not be crossed. And there have been people that have been kicked out of Auschwitz because they will bring Spirit Talker with them, and even Ghost Tube with them. And I would never do anything like that. I even on the sly. There is too much darkness there. There is too much tragedy there. And it's also, quite honestly, it's too soon. At least for me, it's too soon. And when you hear people say, particularly Holocaust deniers, say, well, it never happened, or worse, we should just get over it. I'm like, that's kind of sick. This was an attempt to completely erase a group of people off the planet. And I would not feel comfortable you know, if someone would say, hey, you know what, this particular stretch of road was part of the Trail of Tears, I'd be like, great, I'm not pulling out ghost gear. I'm not going to go investigate. You know, there are certain law, and you as the investigator have to decide whether or not you want to cross that line. Yeah, exactly, Starman. I mean, a lot of people think that's a trite thing to say, but I don't, because we need that reminder. I would definitely, I will say one place that I would be curious about if there were any juju left over from there, because I do think it is still, they still preserve the launch site, but there was the launch site where Apollo 1 was doing routine ground tests, and the capsule caught fire. I would be interested in doing something there, but again, I'd go in with reverence. I'd go in with a lot of reverence. One, because I'm a massive NASA nerd, and secondly, because it was a horrible tragedy. And it, you know, people say, oh, it should have never happened. It's like, yeah, but you know, we were trying to go to the moon. It had never been done before. Nobody knew that, nobody knew that something like that was even possible. And yet here it happened. I bring this up because it's really kind. We really were, I personally feel like we were given a little tap on the shoulder of like you're doing the right thing. And we got that today. So one of the places that Historic Manassas is in charge of is it's a modest plantation, a very modest plantation. It's not sweeping acres. It's just a small little plantation, but the slave quarters are still, the enslaved people's quarters are still standing. And then there's the actual location itself. And Pip and I have been trying to get OSI the opportunity to investigate there. And our contact, Rachel, at Historic Manassas, sorry. But Rachel over at Historic Manassas said, yeah, right now that's a no-fly zone. And I asked why. And I said, do you mind if I ask why? And she said, well, one of the reasons why we are able to open that to the public and share it with the public is that we are in constant touch with the owner of the property, who is one of the descendants of the enslaved people of this particular property. And we were like, oh. And, I immediately backed off, right? And hang on. Hold that thought, Starman. And hi, Spence. If your ears were burning, we were talking about you. It was all very, very nice. I just want to make sure you know that. Anyway, but we were like, okay, that's cool. We totally respect that. Well, when we were doing our public event, was it a public? Yeah, it was the public event. When we were doing the public event at Annenberg, this descendant, the person who owns the property of this particular property of Historic Manassas, they came to the event. They were special guests. They did not have to pay, but they watched us investigate Annenberg, and apparently she went back to her ancestors' property. Reached out and said, how would you feel about that? And apparently, not only did that which remains, whatever spirits, entities, whatever you wish to call them, they were cool with it. She was cool with it because she saw how we operated. And that to me, I'm like, okay, that's, we must be doing something right, because that actually happened on the investigation on Sunday. Our priest, when we were doing our investigation, our priest said yeah, I didn't expect you all to be so compassionate. And I didn't know that there was this side to the paranormal that was so empathic and loving. And I'm nodding, thinking to myself, yeah, you've watched one Zach Baggins too many, you know. Oh, and Spence, that reminds me of something. I put in a good word for the C&O Museum, the C&O Railway Museum. We are trying right now very hard to do a collaboration, or to even get the attention of the two lovely, the lovely ladies from Adelaide Haunted Horizons. Yeah, me too, Spence. I get a kick out of that. But I don't know if you've had a chance to see the Adelaide Haunted Horizons ladies, but these are two ladies out of Australia, and they could not be nicer women. I mean, they are just delightful. Well, they're going to be on the East Coast this spring, and I'm reaching out to them, and I'm trying to see if I can convince them to widen their sphere of influence, come down and do something with us in Virginia. And one of the places that I threw out to them as an option was the C&O Railway Museum. I think they would love that. So we'll see. I will keep you in the loop to see if anything happens. But yeah, Spence, it was really, when Gail said that about us, that was amazing. When this lady said that about us, I was like, okay. Now, Rachel is still, that's our contact at Historic Manassas. Rachel is still on the fence. She said, I reserve the option to change my mind, but right now I don't feel comfortable about it at all, because Rachel got a little concerned. I can't tell if Rachel is part Native American or if she is part of the chosen people, whether she is Jewish. I think she might be a bit of both. I don't know. But the thing about Rachel was that she is very attuned to this sort of thing. And she said that the ancestor of this particular property added, if these boys go in there and start fiddling around, they may open a portal. And Rachel said, I don't feel comfortable about you boys opening a portal. And I said, I hear you. And we will handle it in the best possible way. But right now, if you don't want us investigating this, you know. All right, then. We will add that. We will make that happen. I think that is more than fair. I think.
You want me to say well done? That you did good? Well done.
And everybody, for those of you who do not have a sub or do not have Twitch Turbo, attention all personnel. Ads in 5 seconds. Ads in 5 seconds. That is all. Okay. Whew. Night's been moving by fast. So, again, if we don't get to footage tonight, that's okay. I like these open conversations about the paranormal because it's been a journey for me as well. See everybody on the other side. It's been a journey for me because, no, I'm not necessarily sensitive. Well, Spence might have some words about that. I do not consider myself sensitive to these sort of things. I do not necessarily think that everything that happens on site is something paranormal. I have to have the proof. I have to hear the voice. I have to see it happen. I have to capture it. And again, if I don't see it, or if it is not captured, then it's a personal experience. And while that's great on the personal level, when it comes to producing a YouTube show and trying to create content to make people think, if it isn't captured, there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Let's see. Are you planning on writing another book about ghost hunting for dummies? Again, Starman, very funny you should bring that up. Because there is already a paranormal investigation book for dummies. And it is written by Zach Baggins. Here's the story that was relayed to me. So several years ago, the person in charge of Wiley Publishing and wanted to give the Dummies line a kick in the rear. And they were reaching out to, quote unquote, oh, love from India. Well, love from Virginia. Thank you very much for that. Akash? I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much for the kind words and the comment. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Again, we're having, well, originally I was going to be doing a footage review, Akash, of you know, of some places that we've been already, and I'm gearing up for the 4th season of Old Spirits, which is our paranormal show on this channel. Instead, it's become sort of an open Q&A, ask me anything, and so if you've got questions about the paranormal, feel free to ask, whether you're on YouTube or on Twitch. So going back to the whole thing about the ghost hunting for dummies, as I said, there is already a For Dummies book called Paranormal Investigation for Dummies. It is written by Zak Bagans.
Guardian down.
And the no, it is not. No, the cable mess. Don't worry about the cable mess behind me. It is more than okay. It's okay. We're good. So anyway, so yeah, the powers that be at Wiley Publishing a few years ago, when I say a few years ago, I'm talking about a decade, maybe 15 years ago, wanted to kickstart the For Dummies sales line. And so they had a bunch of celebrities. And in the words of my editor, celebrities was used in a very broad term back then. Like, for example, there was a Sex for Dummies. And it was written by Dr. Ruth Restheimer. So you had that. There was, I want to say it might, no, what, no, that didn't happen. But there were these, you know, borderline celebrities that were doing Dummies books or having people write Dummies books for them, and they just kind of signed off on it. But these were supposed celebrities of a specific topic, and this was early on in Zak's ascent, if you will, whatever that means, and Zak Bagans supposedly wrote Paranormal Investigation for Dummies, and that's what he called it. I take that back. I think it is called Ghost Hunting for Dummies. Because I did say to my editor, would you guys be interested in doing a brand new version of that? Because it's been a while. And this was the inconvenient truth. So if they wanted to do a second edition of Ghost Hunting for Dummies, even if they wanted to do a Paranormal Investigation for Dummies, right? They would still have to go to Zak Bagans. And they say, we want to gauge your interest. Do you want to do a second edition of this book? And Zachary being Zachary, I doubt very sincerely if he would allow anyone to grab that title away from him. I mean, this was how far. You can look it up. Zak Bagans and Ghost Hunting for Dummies. Look it up on Amazon. The cover is still there. He is on the cover. It's his melodramatic take my hand pose. But they went even so far as to redesign the Dummies logo to look like Zak Bagans.
I suggest you let that one marinate.
The ego on that it was that strong. And where it's even weirder is the Dummies people really protect their IP. They have an entire legal team. They have one job. If somebody uses the term For Dummies without their permission, they shut that down. That's how intense they protect that brand over at Wiley Publishing. So this is why, Starman, I will not be doing a Ghost Hunting for Dummies book, because that is already spoken for territory, and naught shall pass. Okay. I'd love to do it because, again, there is the book is just as pretentious as Zachary himself. At one point in the, I believe it is in the book. I believe it is in the book where they say, oh, what was it? It was, maybe you don't believe in demons.
But demons believe in you.
I mean, that is the tone of the book. I actually read some of the passages in samples, and I was like, this is terrible. Could you make a book for ghost hunting for starter? No. If I was going to do it, I would do it with the Dummies people, because I've worked with them on several titles. They're great people to work with. And the other reason is that the Dummies line is the biggest how-to series in the world. I mean, I've written steampunk, I've written epic fantasy, I have written horror. I'm working on an anthology right now with Phil Rossi. But when I tell people I've written the book Podcasting for Dummies, it just shuts up the room. I've had people, yeah, exactly, Starman. And it's funny because I remember when I went to TwitchCon in 2018. Yeah, 2018. No, 2019. It's 2019 when I went to my first TwitchCon, right? And I went to TwitchCon and I said, yeah, I wrote Twitch for Dummies. And even the staff from Twitch did not believe that the book was real. And had I not had a copy of it, they would have still thought the book was fake. So there you have it. So I'll go you one better. Corpse. So I would say this, because this was the next thing I was going to tell you. In starting off, if you really want to have an idea of how to approach a property or how to approach an investigation, I would look at one of two shows. I would try to find the early seasons of Ghost Hunters and watch that. Not Ghost Adventures, not Destination Fear, not any of the one-shot specials. Focus on Ghost Hunters. And I would say look at the first 5 seasons. First 5 seasons are pretty darn tight. And you watch how they do things, and you watch how they handle properties and people and situations. And I think that's a great starter. That's a great primer for you. The other place that I would recommend, the other show that I would recommend outside of Ghost Hunters, and I want you to bear with me because I can't stand the name, but I think it's one of the best paranormal shows that are out there, and it's Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman. Now, I would have never thought that Jack Osborne would be this rational, focused, incredible paranormal investigator, but he is. As a matter of fact, I learned a lot from watching him interact with gear, interact with whatever was there. And he also helped me out a little bit in noting when certain places lean a little too far in. Yeah, Ghost Hunters. Yeah, Ghost Hunters with Grant and Jason, and Portals to Hell with Jack and Katrina. One of the things that I really liked about Jack and Katrina's investigations was when they said, yeah, there were a couple places they went to where they were looking around, they're going, yeah, they're kind of leaning in a little too much. Unfortunately, I don't know how much of them are on YouTube. I can't answer that, Corpse, because I don't know. I know there are seasons of Ghost Hunters available on Amazon Prime. I know that Discovery Plus is part of, I think, Max. So if you have Max, you might have Discovery Plus by default. I think there are some investigations online, not a lot, 1 or 2 maybe, but you know, I learned a lot watching those 2 shows. If you have Discovery Plus, then you should have access to that. But a lot of the one-shot specials, I'm not a big fan of. But the episodes of Portals to Hell, I think are I think it's some of the best paranormal investigation I've seen. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. But again, I would also look at how Amy's Crypt does things. I would look at how Paranormal Quest does things. I would look at how Paranormal Encounters does things. And again, but keep in mind, not everybody is perfect. You might see some stuff that you disagree with, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. It's okay to disagree with certain tactics. It's okay to disagree not only with debunkers. It's also okay to disagree with paranormal investigators. There's some people that they're not using the equipment for one reason, or they're using gear that I like, and they're like, it doesn't work for me, and that's fine. You know, there are certain devices that I am not necessarily the biggest fan of, and it rips me out of the investigation when I see people use them. I am not a fan of the DR60, and it's one of those devices that it's almost considered a flex. It's a digital recorder. Big quotes around digital. It's a digital recorder from the 90s. And the lore behind the DR60 from Panasonic is it was recalled because it was picking up voices, quote unquote, that weren't there. That's not the case. An upgrade came out. So there's that. Podcasters are kind of like that too, as I recall. Yes, they are, Brad. Yes, they are. You know, yeah, some people really enjoyed Keith and the Girl. I was not one of those people. I tried them, not my jam. And last I heard, he was on Sirius. I think it was on XM. Good on him if he's still doing it. Good on him. But no, I mean, I am not cut of the Joe Rogan cloth. And if Joe Rogan is your jam, good on you. Good on you. But I didn't think he was all that in news radio. I didn't think he was all that in Fear Factor. But you know what? If he can do what he can do, and people tune in, and Spotify gives him a truckload of cash, good on him. 2 things I would like to get back into: photography and streaming. Well, you know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with getting into photography and streaming. In fact, you could probably make a streaming channel about photography if you wanted to do that. I heard recently, chat, that turns out dark rooms, physical dark rooms, are coming back in vogue. That apparently there are people that are, you know, they're like, oh, you want to major in photography, or oh, you want to study photography. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put you in a dark room. And I'm like, about freaking time, because I miss the days in the dark room. I really do. I miss the days, the hours that I spent, and the weird chemicals that I was around. I know that probably burned a few cells in my brain, but man, I loved working in dark rooms. Dark rooms are so much fun. I did dance studio photography. My daughter was in dance. A couple of candid shoots for parties. Nice. So yeah, what was going to be a footage review has actually been, well, there has been some footage review tonight. I showed you something that the good folks over at GhostTube did debunk, and I'm glad they debunked it, because it really would have been more embarrassing if I had thrown it out there and going, look at this, and then be told, yeah, that's a bug. Ooh. So we got that. And again, if we do not get to footage review, and at the rate that I'm going, it doesn't look like I am going to get to footage review. So sorry about that if you were looking for footage review. But I'll be back Thursday. Thursday and Friday, we do have footage review scheduled. Again, if you go to my Twitch page, if you go to twitch.tv/TheTMonster, you'll see the graphic that's there, and you'll see the graphic that basically says, here's what I got planned for the weekend, or what I got planned for the week. The other reason, Corpse, that I probably won't be doing footage review tonight is because I'm feeling a little run down. Yeah, hold on. Oh, jeez. Where did I put it? Oh, wait a minute. Whoops. I know, you're absolutely right. Rest is extremely important. Let's try this again. So yeah, that take 2 bourbon and call me in the morning. Oh, jeez. That was the problem with from the weekend. The weekend when Phil was here, I was taking a lot of bourbon and I was calling everybody else in the morning. So yeah. So that is, so if you go there, you'll actually see not only where I post my weekly schedule, but you'll also see right next to that the graphic that we use for when we have scheduled different events, and we will post those. Now, because it's Annaberg and because of the timing of it, there's a good possibility I will not be live streaming the Annaberg public event. Haven't decided yet, but I don't think I'm going to do that just because I don't want to have to contend with the stream. I think I'd rather just go on ahead and just have everything running and and just let it go. Besides, I know that based on my progress with putting together different episodes, I will probably be by the time the public event for Annaberg rolls around, the Annaberg investigation will drop on YouTube. So there's that. What? Did somebody see Dorito? Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. You want to get up on the tree? All right. I know I promised some cat action, so let's go on ahead. Let's jump to the cat cam for just a bit. We're going to go on ahead and take care of Dorito. Here we go. The crime lord has temptations. He is now quite happy, at least for the moment. Yeah, it was a very good weekend. It was a very good weekend with friends. Still feeling the good vibes off of that. His inverse raccoon tail kills me. The one that that's got the wild tail is actually Hudson. Hudson, when you start scritching, his tail will do a perfect circle, and he's ridiculous. He is the biggest. He is the biggest of the crew. He's the biggest of the boys, and yet he is scared of his own shadow. So make of that what you will. But like I said, the other night, I think we, as in me and Pip, are still suffering a bit from fun hangover happiness hangover because we had such a great time with the Rossies, and we're considering a pivot. in our lives, and another pivot, if you will. And I'm trying to figure. Don't worry, it's not the paranormal isn't going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We have this fantastic house. We love this house, but there's a pivot in the works, and we just got word about said pivot, and I know I'm being very, very vague. Just ride the wave with me, and maybe in a few, I'll be able to explain in more detail what I'm talking about. But there's no, we're not having another Kid Starman. No, not at our age. We are not doing that. Absolutely not.
Guardian down.
Thank you though. Nice idea. But no, we found out something about the other pivot we wanted to make, and if I were to sum up the information we found out, well, that's the best way to sum it up. We just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see what comes next. Thank you, Spence. Spence has got the inside. They know what's going on. They know what's going on. But we're still going to be doing. Don't worry. We're still going to be doing Old Spirits. We're still going to be doing some paranormal investigations. Right now, pivot. Exactly, pivot. As of right now, though, the plan for 2025 on where we're going for paranormal investigations, that's something of a question mark. That is something of a serious question mark, and I think one of the things that that we were asked to do for the 5-minute paranormals we produce under Old Spirits was, how do you decide on where to go, or more to the point, how do you gauge the cost of going somewhere, and that's a great question, because again, the paranormal entrepreneurs, as I've told you before, they're the ones that scare me the most. Maybe more so, or they bother me the most, even more so than the paranormal opportunists. Paranormal entrepreneurs, they tend to, like I said, they try to milk a property for everything it's worth. You look at, for example, at the terms and the agreements that you have to sign with a place like, say, the Conjuring House. The Conjuring House will actually look at how many followers you have. They will look at your socials. This is all, of course, before Jackie Nunez kind of popped a gasket somewhere, and she's doing her own thing now. But point I'm getting at is, they had some terms and agreements where they were like, one, we need to know what your follower count is, and then they also limit how long you can stream there. That's another thing, and they claim that they will also review your footage before you make it live. Now, the reason why I say I claim is because there was this one group that, according to the debunkers and according to everybody involved, she signed off on this footage, and there was a group of I'm just going to leave it at that. There was a group that showed up, and they did that cringeworthy humor that is rampant. Well, it made Sam and Colby and Mr. Beast who they are. Let's just call that right there. It made Sam and Colby and the Beast who they are. And this group was doing that at the Conjuring House. And Nunez signed off on it. So make of that what you will.
It's a trap.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm not, you know, I am trying to figure out where we're headed next. Now, the reason I say that is because a season can wrap up very quickly. Before you know it, you are like, and that was the thing, is that when I was getting season 4 ready, I was worried that I didn't have enough content for a full season. Now I'm actually shuffling things around to have stuff for season 5. But I'm also going to be experimenting quite a bit with season 5, in that I want to see. I really want to try doing compilations in season 5. Do an entire compilation on hotels, do an entire compilation, and that right there is just money for Jam. You're basically taking previous investigations and you're putting them together as one giant, like, 3-hour film fest, if you will. And some of those, what I've noticed is people now are really about the long content on YouTube. They're all about the long content. Now, will we do premieres for that sort of thing? Maybe. One of the things that I was thinking about was that what'll be really interesting is, so like I said, we're coming up on season 4, right? And for those of you who go to OSI and they, and you watch some of our previous investigations, what you'll notice is we did a style change. We did a style change between we did a style pivot, if you will, in the middle of season 2. When I first flew the idea of Old Spirits to Phil, when we started doing, I think we were on our 3rd or 4th investigation, and we had all this footage, and I said, so what are we going to do with it? And what I suggested was I wanted to do something radically different. I wanted to do our ghost show in the same way that Cinema Therapy did their show. And what I really loved about Cinema Therapy was Cinema Therapy did, and if you haven't watched Cinema Therapy, I highly recommend it. It's a series where you had a filmmaker and you have a therapist, and they watch a movie together, and then they basically talk about different psychological issues that this movie may or may not bring up. And they've done some wacky movies. Like they did R&R, this Indian like action fest, and they talked about how it was high octane action, but it was also the most non-toxic bromance you could watch, like that Starman, but just way more fun. And I wanted to do that with ghosts. And that's what season 1 was. That's how we did it. Oh, by the way, everybody, incoming. Attention, all personnel. Ads in 15 seconds. Ads in 15 seconds. That is all. Okay. So the first season is just me and Phil watching clips and then commenting on them. Because I figured, it'd be something different. That's what, instead of having people sit through everything and then suddenly the juicy bits, we've taken all the juicy bits out. All the juicy bits are now in the edited version. So kick back and enjoy. And I mean, it was kind of cool, but we just weren't really getting decent numbers. And then and decent numbers for a brand new channel, I should say. So then I started looking at other paranormal shows. I mean, I started looking deeper at Amy's Crypt. I started looking deeper at Paranormal Quest and Paranormal Encounters, and I realized they were all shooting and presenting their footage in a similar fashion. It wasn't necessarily first person, but it was more like what you saw with Project Fear, where you had cameras. They had people, pointing the camera at each other, and then they were shooting each other. And of course, they had one wide shot, and the wide shot was taking in everything. And I started looking at that really critically, and I thought, we need to start doing that. We need to start. We should have more immersive. And I remember I called them immersive clips. So in season 2, we started introducing the idea of immersive clips. Let's see what this is, an immersive clip. Let's see what this immersive clip would be like. And what we discovered straight off the bat was that was what people wanted. People wanted immersive clips. And I thought, oh, okay. And the other thing that we started doing a little differently was we said, okay, instead of doing one big episode, let's try doing 2 small episodes. And that also had an impact on how we shot and how we edited and how we presented stuff. But then, strictly by accident in season 3, I found out, what if I made because then I noticed that with Amy's Crypt and Paranormal Quest and so on, their shows were starting to get longer in content. At first they were just pushing the hour mark. And I was like, well, I don't want to go above 45 minutes. But I noticed when we went beyond the hour mark, suddenly we were getting more eyeballs. And then I saw with Paranormal Quest and Amy's Crypt and so on, some of their shows were going as long as an hour and a half. So we started doing longer episodes. And that is how we are now on the format that we're on now, which is, somewhere between an hour and 30 is going to be part 1, and then part 2 is going to be an hour to hour 30. And we still do couch commentary because we think that's a great dad thing to do. Have 2 dads on the couch talking about stuff, giving a little commentary, giving a little, a little bit of dad love at the end. You know what I'm saying? And we still want to keep that vibe. And I think that's part of our style. The show begins, or the investigation begins and ends on the couch. And I think that's 2 things that I would never compromise with Old Spirits. I want to make sure that the shows begin and end on the investigations begin and end on the couch. And I also feel like the thing we need to keep in Old Spirits is the history hit, because I love doing the history hit. I love putting together that. We got something special planned for the history hit for the North Carolina, so I'm excited about that. The other thing I think is hella fun is Phil and myself, kicking back and talking and going in retrospective, looking back and I also like the idea of us doing seasons. Because I have nothing but respect. I have nothing but respect and awe at how groups like Amy's Crypt and Paranormal Quest and Adelaide Haunted Horizons, they are just cranking out investigations. I mean, just like popcorn. And I love the fact that they have the time for that, but I'm like, no. We're not at the stage where we could go full time. I wish I could. I wish I could go full time, and I wish I could take Phil with me. And full time, we just start. We just pack a van, grab some cameras, and go for it. And we go to Virginia City, and we go to the Clown Motel, yada yada. It'd be great, but that doesn't pay the bills yet. The show doesn't pay the bills yet. So having these seasons, I think, have been great for us, because then we can gauge. We can be like, well, we're doing investigations here. They'll show up next year. And if they're really exceptional, or if they are a little more timely, like the North Carolina or Sunday night's venture out to our church, that's different. And being able to be that flexible, I think that's important. Yes, I would. Don't get me wrong. I would love to go full-time content creation, but unless there's something to balance that is a one-way ticket to burnout. I've seen people just absolutely trip over themselves trying to make this a full-time venture, and it's hard. It's really hard, especially when you're in a niche market like paranormal investigation. I'm happy being in paranormal and being in a being in the niche that I'm in. I'm more than happy there, but I also have to recognize that where I'm at in my life, where Phil is in his life, these are two different intersections. And right now we have to focus on how we can make the current intersection where Old Spirits happens, we got to make that work. And that means that we do seasons. Because and I'm bringing this up because Steve Saylor, who has been sort of our guru in trying to make YouTube work. Steve's like, you know, the algorithm doesn't like seasons, and he's right. The algorithm, the all mysterious algorithm does not care for seasons. They want the content, and they want it all, and they want it right now. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but right now, we are steadily growing. I would love to grow faster. Of course, I would love to grow faster. That's what she said. But as far as the pace that we've set for ourselves, I think we're doing all right. And it's all that we can ask is that we create content that people resonate with and that people enjoy. You know what I mean? I'd love to have I would love to be partnered, but I'm not even talking about being partnered. I'm talking literally what I'm talking about, Starman, is being able to do this on the regular and have this be, you know, the source of income. Now, the difference is, though, like, for example, and I think Steve is a great example. Steve and I bring in about the same amount of people to our streams. Now, Steve will sometimes do a special event and he'll bring in a massive amount of people. But Steve and I, on average, get about the same viewership. But as I've told Steve before, Steve has talked a lot about his imposter syndrome with me. And I'm sitting there going, yes, Steve, but there's a difference. Yes, there are other partners on Twitch that they bring in more people than you do. But they are still on the outside of the gaming industry looking in. Steve is in the gaming industry. Steve is part of the dev team for Call of Duty. Steve is on many people's radars. And when I say many people's radars, I mean people like the head of Naughty Dog, the head of EA Games, the head of Xbox. There are people that high up that all know Steve, and I've watched it. I've watched him work a room, and it's masterful. And when I say I am proud to be his wingman, I am not kidding. I would like very much, Starman, to have that purple check mark, because then I would feel less as a +1, and I'd feel more like, and he's nice to boot. Exactly, Spence. I want to be, and this is no shade on Steve. I want to make that abundantly clear. This is no shade on Steve. Steve, I will always be Steve's +1. If I get that check mark, maybe I'm one step closer into being his equal. Steve considers me as the equal. But I know that if I did not attend TwitchCon without Steve, I would still see the TwitchCon that everybody else sees. When I did TwitchCon, and I've told Steve this repeatedly, I don't think I could do TwitchCon without Steve if I don't have that. Even if I had the purple check mark, I still do not think I could go to TwitchCon without Steve. And here's why. There are 2 TwitchCons that are happening. There's the TwitchCon that is forward facing. Everybody sees it. You know, fans walk in, community walks in, affiliates walk in, partners walk in. And it's just full on. Then there's the TwitchCon behind the scenes. where you're going to the private parties, where you're going to, rub shoulders with and network with people. The special breakfast breakout sessions with partners and ambassadors only, that is an entirely different side to Twitch that I didn't know existed in 2019. I had suspicions, but I thought that was a partners thing. But there were even partners I met that weren't a part of that, And when Steve showed me the other side of TwitchCon, I was like, oh, okay. And well, I appreciate that, Starman. No, I do appreciate that. Thank you. It's a great look. Even as an affiliate, when I went in 2019, it was an incredible experience because I realized very quickly, and this was after the first edition of Twitch for Dummies had been out for almost. It had been out for roughly 8 months, and I realized I need to do a second edition stat because one, they were completely. I'm just here so I don't get fined. How are you? How are you, Walker? I saw, like I said, I saw a completely different side to Twitch when I went to TwitchCon in 2019 because I suddenly realized there's more to Twitch than just video games. I was watching, the weirdest thing I think I saw that weekend when I went to TwitchCon for the first time was I was watching somebody on vacation. The guy was on vacation and live streaming his vacation. And people were somehow, I don't know how, but chat was actually interacting. I think they were scanning a QR code that he was streaming. And because he was scanning the QR code, his chat was making this vending machine go off. And this was my first brush with parasocial. Is it parasocial? Yeah, with parasocial relationships, and I found it very disturbing, very disturbing. But now I was aware of it. I was now aware that there were people that felt, and I also met some streamers that felt. I mean, at the time that I went to TwitchCon, I was streaming. I've been streaming for 2 years, and I met some dude who had been streaming for 7 years, and he was still an affiliate. And he was bitter about it. He was like, by this time I should have been partnered. And it was almost, it was like he had a real love-hate relationship with Twitch, and it was very parasocial. He apparently loved streaming or loved content creation, but he hated how Twitch had monetized it, and he hated the fact that he had been on there for so long that he still, but he wasn't partnered. He made it something personal, and I don't think it is personal. It's luck, as I've mentioned many times on this stream before. It is luck. I'm not saying I have had bad luck. I'm just saying I am not as fortunate as some other people. But I will say this. And in 2019, when I went to TwitchCon that first time, I remember coming home and I said to my beautiful wife, Twitch mom herself, I said to Pip, I said, I've given myself 3 goals. And in those these 3 goals, I want to meet within 5 years' time, right? And those goals were, I wanted to stream from the floor, but not like I wanted to stream for somebody. I wanted to stream I wanted to stream live from the convention floor, right? So I wanted to do that. The second thing I wanted to do was speak on a panel. And the third thing I wanted to do was be partnered. Now, I took the pandemic years, I took those years off because I was like, yeah, I can't count that. So, and that's what I said, within 5 years. So 21, I think, I started going back it was actually in 22. Yeah, it was 22 I went back to TwitchCon for the first time. So 22, 23. So If you want to count 21, there was 21, 22, 23, and 24. Didn't go in 21, so it's been 3 years. I've been doing TwitchCon regularly since 22. And within those 3 years, I've done 2 out of 3. I have streamed for somebody else. I was invited to stream for Prime Video, and we talked about the Rings of Power. And the other time, Steve invited me to join him in a live stream of Monster Hunter, Monster World, Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter game, right? And no, you need to have the thing to become a partner. And technically, I have qualified for it, but there's a loophole I have to deal with. You have to average roughly 75 to 75 to even higher for some people. 75. The safe zone is 75 to 95 viewers. If you can keep those numbers concurrent for a couple of months, then okay. So it's the concurrent viewership, and that's something I don't have, and that's fine. I'm good with that. I've done the other 2 things though. I mean, in fact, last year was an even bigger accomplishment than I expected. We filled a pretty decently sized theater. It was when we did our paranormal panel. We were in the Nom Nom Theater, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. And now, granted, there are other little theaters around, so I figured that, okay, so it's one of the panel rooms. I was wrong. The Nom Nom Theater is the second biggest theater at TwitchCon, and we nearly filled it. I'm pretty happy with that. The only theater bigger than the Nom Nom Theater is the Glitch Theater, and the Glitch Theater is the main stage. And last year at the Nom Nom Theater, I was on the stage with my best friend Steve, with just Sam and Datoon, and we were talking about streaming the paranormal. So I'm good with that. But what I've told Steve often is, you're in the gaming industry. People come to you, and you can affect the game with your opinion. That's influence. That's true dyed-in-the-wool influence. And it's the difference between actually having a say in how the game is shaped, and then you've got someone like I think it's Mike Works. I can't remember the guy's name. No, Nick Merckx, who got a likeness. He got a skin in the game, and then he shot his mouth off, making homophobic and transphobic remarks. And what happened? Call of Duty ripped his skin out. So much for your influence there, bro. But my point is, that is what Steve has going for him is true influence. Now, I will not have that kind of influence because I don't have the same angle and the same track record that Steve has in the gaming industry. But I'm doing something that not a lot of people are doing on Twitch. I'm doing, not tonight, but I'm doing paranormal investigation stuff, and I dig it. And yes, Steve is an amazing human. We all acknowledge that, absolutely. That's no worries, man. It's no worries. What I'm talking about right now, Corpse, is my current standing in Twitch and how I feel about it and things like that. And I'll tell you, the main reason I switched to primarily paranormal content with some gaming stuff, bookending what I do, it had nothing to do with is this going to be what will resonate? I just said, you know what? No. Yes, I am going to be at TwitchCon this year. That is my plan. My plan is, God willing, I'm going to be at TwitchCon this year with Steve. So I'm all good with that. That's my plan. But this journey, I decided to pivot full on with the paranormal because it was something that brought me joy, and it was something that not a lot of people are doing on here. I know there are people doing the paranormal, and it's not just a tune, and it's not just me. There are there's actually a guy who runs a property. I want to say out in the Midwest. I think his Twitch handle is What's Good Gramps. Nice guy, and he runs a I think it's like an old Catholic school or reformatory school, something like that, out in Nebraska. I could be completely effing this up, but I know he's out there and he's doing his jam, and I admire it. We got Haunt Hunters. They're doing their jam out here. So, but I think that what's cool is it's something different. And I can honestly say though, for me, that would be the accomplishment of, getting partnered, because I would be able to say to Steve, okay, I'm a little closer to be standing toe to toe with you. But that's the thing. Steve has always been looking out for me in the same way that I look out for him. I want to provide Steve some incredible opportunities. I want to be able to help Steve in whatever he's doing. The fact that Steve called me his technical assistant on the Dungeons and Disabled one-shots for Haven's Rest, that I was he didn't have to do that, but he did. It was very kind of him to do so. It's very kind of him. I was just enjoying, being able to meet the people that he was introducing me to. And better still, these are people that I now consider friends. And so I've told Steve straight up, I'm like, I am seeing an entirely different side of TwitchCon because of him. And it'll be very hard for me to go back. When Steve says, I don't think I'm doing TwitchCon anymore, it's probably when I'm going to hang it up too. But I genuinely enjoy doing this. I genuinely enjoy bringing you all content. And one thing I've learned is there are going to be times where you have to pivot. I wasn't sure what we were going to do tonight. I just knew that I wanted to go on ahead and I wanted to look at some footage with you all and do some review. And instead, we went from talking about how do you get started in the paranormal to what's your journey been on Twitch? And the funny thing I would say about it is I can now say I have done, or I am doing, a journey both on Twitch and YouTube. I'm not sure how, or I think I understand. Oh, I think I definitely understand how the difference between YouTube and Twitch. One being that Twitch is of the moment. Twitch is the here and now. Yeah, there are going to be people watching my VODs, but not like YouTube. YouTube, I look back on some of the stuff on YouTube, and taking out the Doug reaction video, which is still probably one of the high points of my it's definitely one of the highest points of my content creation. Yeah, definitely one of the highest points.
What I care about is the judgment of T. Morris, who wrote Twitch for Dummies.
That's the one, Corpse. That's the one I go to. I'm not going to be going to the one in Rotterdam. That is a long way to go to get to an audience that will probably struggle to find me. I'm gonna attend the one out in San Diego, and I'm just giving you a fair warning. It's a big event. It's an expensive weekend, and I will have to budget for it. And I will have to save up for it. And I have thoughts. I have thoughts of where I would like to. If you can make it, Corpse, fantastic. Fantastic. If you can make it, fantastic. But don't break your back trying to get there. But I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. But I would say, it's a different, with Twitch, it's of the moment. But with YouTube, it's more about the permanence. I really believe that part of the reasons why I can see growth on YouTube is because you have some of the similar similar mechanics. You know, you've got there are things that say, hey, these are the channels you follow, but you know what? There's some live channels that we will recommend to you that you might like, and rarely do I click down there. It's only if I see somebody that I'm like, why am I not following that person? And then I go on ahead and I follow that person from there. But there is it's the permanence on YouTube and being able to point to people and say, oh yeah, that's where you can find me. The discoverability on YouTube is a little easier than the discoverability on Twitch. And I think that's why we have grown the way we have grown on YouTube. And I take a lot of pride in doing that. With Twitch, one of the things that I will always love about Twitch is that spontaneity, is that ability of saying, yep, I'm going live. Let's do a thing. Let's see what happens. And sometimes the stream will work out the way it does, and other times it'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this, and that's okay. We'll do this. And I also genuinely enjoy this journey. I do. And we'll just have to wait to see what 2025 holds, and we'll see what happens next, right? And what is happening next is I'm just going to go on ahead and close out for tonight. Not gonna raid anybody. I'm just gonna call it a night. But I'm gonna be back on Thursday, and I will be reviewing footage. What will I be reviewing? That I don't know, but I know I will be reviewing footage. I will probably start cracking into the footage that we shot when we were at Clifton Forge, Virginia. But I want to see where I'm going to be in my other investigation, in my other 2 investigations. If I can get ahead of that curve, then we'll bring in all new footage. But I can assure you, Thursday I'll be back. So thanks, everybody. I will see you all then. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for all the questions and all the discussion. This was a good night. Unexpected, but still a good night. I will see you all on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Peace.